Welcome to the Thrive 25 in 5 podcast, where we provide a quick win to optimize your health and longevity in just 5 minutes. Welcome to today's podcast. In our previous episode, we talked about our 10-6-1 food plan. And if you missed that, be sure to tune in. And today we're going to build upon that and talk about what the 6 stands for, the 6 servings of fruits and vegetables. Today, we're going to cover some fruits that should absolutely be part of that list and why. Plus, easy ways to get those fruits into your everyday menu. And first up, we're going to talk about berries. Just about any list you see on health and longevity will include berries as a superfood. And they're all incredible antioxidants, but each one is special in their own way. So for example, blueberries support our DNA methylation. That's really a technical term, meaning it protects our DNA and our genetic code. It's so important that this is actually the primary way scientists now use these new biological clocks to measure how old we are in terms of our health, not how many birthdays we've celebrated. Blueberries also boost our neurons in our brain, and that blue color comes from anthocyanin, a compound that, among other things, really is great for our eye health. And maybe best of all, just 1.5 cups of blueberries increases our T cells by 88%. That's huge for our immune system to fend off potential invaders always trying to get into our body. Now, my favorite berry are actually strawberries. We even take kids out to pick them every spring ourselves. Well, strawberries have a senolytic, again, without getting too technical, these are compounds in plants that give them their color. They have a senolytic called quercetin. Quercetin has been shown to actually increase lifespan in mice by 10%. And what it does is it kills off our zombie cells. These are cells that aren't functioning anymore, but refuse to die. They simply get in the way and cause big problems as we get older. Strawberries are by far the biggest source of this potent zombie killer. Now, I'm not going to get into the detail of raspberries and blackberries, but they are just as awesome. So 3 ways that we can get more berries into our everyday diet. 1, frozen berries in your smoothie. 2, berries in a cup of Greek yogurt, chia, coconut pudding, or cottage cheese. Or just grab a handful of berries when you walk by the fridge. Super easy. Next up, it sounds so trivial, but it's true. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Apples have a compound called quercetin, which lowers our inflammation and even our blood pressure. It regulates our blood sugar, and it keeps away triglycerides, one of those key biomarkers that we need to pay attention to when we get our blood tests. Yes, apples have a lot of sugar, especially newer varieties like my favorite, the Honeycrisp, but they still have a lot of fiber to offset this sugar. And one of the keys, I actually eat apples with loads of peanut butter or almond butter. And the fat will actually reduce those glucose spikes, and you still get all the nutrients from the apple itself. Now, this next fruit is what I would call the unsung hero winner, the kiwi. It has more vitamin C than an orange, and it has vitamin E that protects our skin, folate for healthy cell growth, and best of all, it reduces our DNA damage by 60%. So here's a pro tip to eat the kiwi. Cut off the ends, slice it into thin strips so you can actually eat the skin without getting that tangy taste of too much of that outside fuzz. Finally, we're going to talk about 2 fruits that can be kind of confusing. What's the deal with bananas? On the one hand, you might hear, bananas are great, look at all that potassium. And then others are saying, no, wait, they have way too much sugar. Well, they're actually the most popular fruit in the United States. 63% of Americans eat them. So let's find out what's the deal. Short answer, they are good for you. But the key is to eat them before you see those brown spots pop up on the skin. The less ripe, the more you get insoluble fiber. This is to feed the good bacteria in our gut. But if they're more ripe, that fiber just turns into sugar. I was actually wearing a continuous glucose monitor for a month, and my smoothie never spiked my glucose, even when I put a banana in it. But when that banana was overripe, I saw massive glucose spikes right after I had my smoothie. It truly makes a massive difference. And finally, what's the deal with grapes? Same thing. Are they good or bad for us? Well, we grow 72 million grapes every single year. I've actually seen the harvest when companies set up entire towns to manage the thousands of workers that get the grapes for us in the few weeks that they're ripe. Some people call them sugar bombs, yet they're supposedly also have a very low glycemic index. So what's the deal? Grapes are full of water. They help make us full. And unless you're on a strict diet of high glucose or insulin, a handful of grapes are not going to cause any massive problems for you. So go right ahead and enjoy your grapes. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of how to get more fruit into your daily routine. That's all for today. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on Friday with some more nutrition tips. Until then, have an awesome day. While we strive to provide informative and inspiring content, the information shared in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider for any personal health concerns or before starting a new health regimen.